not the best angle, and I don't know how well you'll be able to hear me, but today is the end of February? I don't even know the date. It's after my brother's birthday, so it's gotta be damn near close to March. And that pretty much sums up where I'm at. I am like 2 months away from the bar, freaking out. I'm in the midst of this puberty again, and nobody gets it. I am having a very hard time talking to anybody, really. Luckily, my girlfriend Jenna is really the only sounding board I have lately, and even some days it's too much for her, and I could not even imagine being in her shoes and putting up with somebody going through the stuff that I'm going through. I probably just seem like a basket of negativity every day, but I'm really trying lately to renew my relationship with Christ and just make little positive changes throughout the day, because I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. I am really just, every time I say it can't get worse, it gets worse. So I don't want to say I'm at rock bottom, but I'm at rock bottom. My relationship with both of my parents, I guess I would say 3 out of 4, have been kind of suffering lately. 4 out of 4 if by default. My dad and I just can't seem to get on the same page. He's very conservative minded, very blue collar, working man. I don't want to say bigoted and use like offensive terms, but in regards to my political views, that's what it is. He's very focused on anything that just basically pertains to him. No free handouts, no nothing. Which I get. But the hardest... one of the hard things for me is I was raised by my parents. So I was raised having these same views. And I don't know if it's been since law school or since just moving out I moved out for a 5-year period of time, or what it is, but something, I just can't connect with them the same. I can't have a conversation. They can't listen to, like, some days I don't even feel like they're listening to me, but even if I genuinely feel like they're listening to me, I don't feel like I'm being heard. I feel like they don't understand where I'm coming from, or I seem extreme, and it's all of them, and it's hard for me to give examples when I'm speaking to one specific one and they want a specific example within the last day of just specifically them, and I don't sit around thinking about that all day. I sit around, I have anxiety, like, I can't help it. I overthink and overanalyze everything people say, and that's just who I am. And I'm getting to a point where I'm sick of people picking apart my character flaws. Like, some people don't consider them a flaw. Like, some people like how I am, how open I am, how the way my mind works, my heart, how I overthink things and overanalyze things, because I consider various perspectives. And it has some word that AC was telling me about, my therapist, but I can't remember what it's called. But he like begged me to keep it. To keep that, cultivate it, allow my heart to keep growing. And just because people don't like me, I don't want to say confronting them, because it's just speaking up for myself. Like, god damn it, I'm 24 almost. Like, I'm just tired of being that kid that people walk on. And I've done it my whole life, so people don't realize it. But, like, I'm the one that deals with it every day, from everyone. And so anytime I try to stand up for myself, I'm automatically being combative, and I want to fight, and I just want to I haven't even said hello for 5 minutes. Like, come on. There's no right time to confront something that bothers people. It's all about maturity, and being able to have somebody not even constructive criticism, because it's not really criticism. It's just saying, hey, this thing you did that I genuinely don't think you realize had the impact it did bothered me. So let's talk about it like adults and come to a resolution, whether you don't do that again or whether I now understand like your intent for it, then so be it. I didn't really think it's that big of a deal to try to take the weight of the world off my shoulders for a few minutes, and nobody, I don't really know why it's a surprise, but nobody wants to, you know, hold it for me for a second. It's all me. I've thought about just getting the damn world tattooed on my back, as cliche as that is. But I'm at a hard point. I don't know what I want to do after I graduate, which is, you know, May 18th. That's getting closer and closer. I don't have a job lined up. I'm just getting an influx of all these student loans and all this other crap I gotta pay back right away, and it's stressful. I'm trying to start a family with my girl because, you know, I'm learning. I'm not the type that wants to frolic around and just hook up with everybody, and even though I'm going through puberty again and it's like exciting and, you know, I want to sow my wild oats, and it just, I don't know. I don't want to do that. I want something of substance. I want a connection with somebody, and I have that, and I'm so grateful. I can't even convey it right now. I don't mean to get all religious because I know that that's a sensitive topic for a lot of people, but I was raised Catholic, and I struggled a lot with my identity, with my beliefs, because of my religion. Like, I would go to church at least once a week, and I went to religion every Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what like school grade I was in, and I struggled, man. I remember vividly. I remember questioning how somebody like Santa Claus and Christ could exist. Two polar opposites. Like, you know, the cartoony version of Santa that they sell to kids, and then, you know, this almighty being that you never see, you just kind of feel like the wind, who's always with you. And that to me was just an example of my inquisitive mind. I don't have a mind like my parents. I don't have a mind like my siblings, and I constantly get pointed out for being an other. Well, you know what? I am. I can't help that. And the old me abandoned that mindset. The old me sat on my bedroom floor begging for it not to be this way. And it is, because that's life. And I'm struggling to realize that and find coping mechanisms and ways to just navigate through this. It's hard right now. And I'm sure my emotions are heightened by puberty. I kind of thought I would be the polar opposite. Before, I was the type that would cry over anything. Not because I like wanted to cry or needed to cry because I was so like upset. I could be pissed off, angry, and I'm just so mad that I start crying, and then the crying makes me more mad, and it's just a cycle. And now I still cry when I laugh, but I don't cry when I get upset the same. It just stews inside of me. It's just anger. It's just whatever. And then people don't get that. And then I'm held to the, 23-year-old, almost 24-year-old, whatever, like, level. I'm supposed to have worldviews. I'm more mature typically than my age. So they hold me to that maturity level all the time without considering the fact that I'm going through puberty again. Like, we already made it through that tunnel, and then I just, turned around and realized I must have forgot something and went back, because this sucks. Genuinely feeling like the world is out to get me. Like, I have no clue what I want to do when I get older. I'm able to look at, cis kids my age, well, my puberty age, I guess, so 14 through whatever, college, I guess, and see why they act the way they act now. I used to think that cis males were what are you thinking, bro? What are you doing? How are you like that? And now I find myself every day justifying it. It's a different perspective, and that's all it is. And so I lived a majority of my life, I guess, having issues with men. I still have connection issues with middle-aged men. Like, I can't hold a conversation. And it's not like I have a cis male best friend or anything like I would really love. I would really love a cis male best friend of color. I know I want to be immersed in a different culture. I want to be up to date on just like guy code and all that crap, but also like a different world perspective. The way that our society is because of like the administration and what have you, this stuff's not new, man. Like, there's like statistics. If I don't quote them, at least I'm thinking them when I have a political based conversation with somebody. And that's what's drawing my opinions. I don't just have an opinion because I like the shirt the guy wore today. It's like I'm figuring things out for myself. So yeah, I'm kind of liberal for a lot of things, but I'm also pretty conservative on a few things. So I don't know. More often than not, I'm like moderately liberal. But when it comes to civil rights, dude, why are we questioning that? Like, it's 2018. We've all read about the whitewashed versions of slavery and immigration in this country. So why are we letting it continue now? It's just like, it's not that racism went away. It's just racism has been perfected. Like, it's just ways that are pushed down deeper so people think that it doesn't exist until it comes out, creeping out. It's there, man. And I feel so bad. And now, coming into this new identity as a 23-year-old white male, it's something that I don't want to say power struggle, because I definitely say that lightly, but it's privilege. It's a privilege I didn't have. It's a privilege I'm unaccustomed to. It's a privilege I don't enjoy every day, honestly. It has no perks other than like exclusionary, like, that's not even the right word. Is that even a word? Probably not. Just like, basically my privilege comes at the expense of somebody else, is how I'm trying to say that, and I don't like that. It's like humor. If your only humor is attacking somebody else, they're fat, they're retarded. Like, I hate those words. Hate them. We all use them, whether we want to admit it or not. But if that's like the only jokes you crack, you're not funny. You're just insulting. And people around you, I don't know. That's neither here nor there, because that's also part of what I struggle with lately too. Sorry, there's a truck. Pretty sick. I don't know. I'm having a really hard time, and I'm thinking I'm gonna start making these videos, because I can't seem to convey what I'm thinking to somebody without them cutting me off and without them jumping down my throat or thinking I mean something I don't without allowing me to get it out. If I'm not able to converse with somebody, every time you have a conversation with somebody, you have to speak and, again, I guess the word convey your thoughts in a manner that's not offensive to them or that resonates with them, that they understand what you're trying to say, whether it's like vocabulary or examples or relating things. And it's so exhausting to have to sit there and overanalyze how to do that with every person. I have anxiety, dude. I overanalyze everything to begin with. We had a off-the-cuff conversation in quick passing, and you were tired, but to me it came off like I did something wrong. I thought about that from every possible perspective. Wow, I'm having a day. Perspective. Since that conversation happened. It's not like I'm just bringing it up out of nowhere. And so, like, something that's really been on my mind since last night is I was trying to talk with my mom and ask if her and my stepfather perceive me as fat. And I get how that can come off as humorous, coming out of nowhere the way it did, and I made the mistake of bringing it up too soon, I guess, and seeing her, but she's on full watch lately, which is like the equivalent of, like, I guess, saying, all right, water broke in a human, you rush to the hospital, the baby's coming at any minute. That awkward period of time where you're not in labor yet, but you're like at the hospital with contractions, that's how my mom's been for like months with these horses. Not able to do anything, not able to go anywhere, she's got to cancel plans, she's mentally checked out. You can't have a conversation with her because she's too busy staring at this little, looks like an iPad, sort of, that is cameras of the horses. And so I have been trying to have this same conversation with her for weeks now. And she just sees it as me like nitpicking her, me trying to fight with her, me trying to whatever. And it's not what it is. I'm just trying to find like closure to these conversations. And so I had a bunch of IDs and I lined them all up, and I was looking at the transition even before starting hormones and stuff. And it's crazy. Like, I had long curly hair on my 16th birthday ID. It looks like my sister or something. Like, we don't even look like the same person at all. So we're standing there, and my stepdad had said to me, I have basically gained twice as much weight since being in law school. Well, weight has always been something that I have struggled with. My mom's 90 pounds soaking wet, eats whatever she wants, and then I have to eat the same foods growing up as her, but my body is twice the size. And I'm starting to come into that and actually like my size, especially now as a male in society. Like, I'm broad. You can't see it now because I'm like a floating head here, but I'm broad, and my shoulders, it helps me feel like I'm passing or whatever more. And sorry, there's a bit of traffic. I'm trying to figure out my next move here. So like, I'm starting to like that, but I used to have a very prominent hourglass figure, and now those curves are shifted to my gut, and I'm not used to that. So I'm struggling, and I'm having self-confidence issues on top of dysphoria. And so my bringing that up was to be like, hey, do you guys see me as fat? Not as like a, how could you say I'm fat? As like a, hey, as my parents, do you think there's like an issue or something going on here? Because when I went to the doctor's last, she told me, like, I gained a whole bunch of weight since being here last. Well, lady, I had 2 surgeries where I'm bedridden for like months at a time, whatever, practically, because I can't lift this, can't do that, can't whatever. I'm obviously going to gain some weight. And those surgeries, one of them was last year this time in February. And then, like, 2 months later, whatever, not really, but a couple months later, July, shipped myself on down to Texas and had top surgery and couldn't lift, couldn't do this, couldn't whatever. Like, I'm still supposed to be putting on scar treatment stuff and whatever, and it doesn't hold, and it's another frustrating matter, but that's for another day, I guess. It would suck if I got in an accident when I was recording. But, yeah, that's basically where I was coming at. Like, the doctor was a kook. She thought I was 3 years on T when I was 3 months on T. She was telling me I need to lose all this weight, and not considering the fact that I had those 2 surgeries, and, you know, this is where my body stays. So, yeah, 3 years ago when I last came into the doctor, and I was busting my ass for 3.5 hours every day in the gym, and then scooting on over to my job at a different gym, and then purposely doing little things each day to add more workouts during my work shift. But we'll just say that that's 4 hours of working out a day. Calorie counting in an app, not seeing my friends, not having beer, not having pizza, not being a kid. And I have sacrificed that shit so long, like worrying about not getting in trouble because I'll never get into law school, or colleges won't accept me. And like, yeah, you need to be a decent human and like do your work, but it was over instilled in me. Like, if I go partying with my friends and get drunk one night in high school, I'm never gonna get into law school. And that's not the case. Like, there's people who have criminal offenses that are in law school with me right now. Got cokeheads and alcoholics and there's all that crap. The stereotypes are real, whether people admit it or not. And I'm not doing any of that crap. So I'm struggling with law school. I'm not a prime student. Most of my family didn't graduate high school. I can't stop saying that enough, because like things are genetic. I didn't just come out whatever. I just worked. Yeah, school's hard, and my family is the type that gives up. That's why my siblings are struggling. Like, they don't understand something and they give up. And I have been in those shoes. I laced them on, strapped them up, and said, you know what, I don't know this. If I don't pass this, I'm not getting into college. If I don't pass this, I'm not getting into law school. Let's figure it out. And they're the type that are like, I don't need college. I don't need whatever. So they don't care. And that's totally cool. Don't mistake me saying that as like putting them down because they're not going to law school. It's absolutely not what I mean. Law school, for anybody that's like I am in my family, blows, dude. I said dude a lot in the conversation. Shoot, sorry. Slapping you around here. But it sucks for anybody in my family. Like, it's hard. I'm not saying that stuff. I would love to see my siblings do more of, like, trade things. Because I think that's where the next thing's at. That's where the next, like, billionaires are going to come from. Because everybody's going to college, and not everybody's cut out for it. Not everybody's cut out to be an English, like a school-aged English teacher. When you're just funneling kids into this stuff because we're just expected to have these degrees now, but none of us actually know what we want to do. Very rarely is somebody, like, super passionate about whatever they want to do. And maybe I'm a little bitter about it because I don't feel that calling yet. But how can you expect a kid that's like 17 or 18, fresh-faced, scared as hell out of high school, to make a decision about what they want to do with the rest of their lives? I am nowhere near who I was at 17, and I signed a contract, now I know it wasn't binding, saying that I was going to go to St. Rose, and then I was going to go to law school, and then I was going to, whatever. And now I knew since a kid that I was going to either med school or law school. I got letters from Johns Hopkins. I got letters from various law schools. I get emails still from Harvard. Not that I could ever cut it out to go to Harvard law. I can't even cut it in Albany law, let alone Harvard. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I've been recruited for years, and I'm not the type of person that keeps that just like in my back pocket. I don't think about that. My parents actually reminded me of that recently. And then that comes into the issue with them of, like, anytime I have 5 minutes of feeling confident in myself and proud of my accomplishments, they, like, beat me down. And I don't know if it's, like, an insecurity thing or they're not hearing what I'm saying when I'm trying to, like, let them into my mind. But they take it as, like, I'm gloating and I'm the best person in our family and blah, 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 blah. Come on, dude. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying for 5 seconds, I'm able to sit back, anxiety, depression, dysphoria, whatever aside, and acknowledge, like, wow, for 23 years old, I'm graduating law school. 23 years old, I cut out a year of undergrad. 23 years old, my mother was walking around with, like, a 6-year-old kid, and this is my life. Like, that's all I'm saying. It's just like, wow, I never thought of that. And just trying to hold a conversation with somebody. Not everything I say is gloating. Not everything I say is bragging. Not everything I say is to put somebody else down. It rarely ever is. And I think that's what hurts so much, is I literally strive every day to be the best Christian, the best son, the best brother, the best boyfriend, the best whatever I can be, to show, hey, I was thinking of you, or hey, you know, whatever. Hey, I love you in some way. And I just feel like I give, and I often have to sit back and dissect other people to realize the ways that they give back to me, which is cool. Like, it makes me appreciate that, yeah, they are doing stuff for me, and not everything in the world is about being so selfish and expecting something back. It's about being selfless. But it's hard because, you know, you just do that for everybody and you don't feel any of it's reciprocated. You feel like nobody's listening to what I'm saying, so I might as well not say anything to anybody. And then they have their comments about how I'm not letting anybody in, and they think they know me, and they think they know whatever, but they don't. They're filling that gap in their own heads because I'm not filling it in for them. So then there's 27,000 different versions of Emmett running around that aren't me. And that's what hurts. I escaped that. I left having people tell me who I needed to be and who I should be and who society says I need to be. Why am I going to let you do that to me now? So, this video is getting kind of long. I honestly didn't think it was going to let me go this far. I don't know. So, just to bullet point a few other things on my mind for the sake of this video. I don't feel like my meds are working anymore. Just anxiety meds. I think it is puberty. I think I'm full swing in puberty, and I'm blaming everything else, and I'm thinking that's what it is. There's a reason 14-year-olds aren't in law school. And that's all I really can sum that up to without that being misconstrued for something else. So, as I'm stuck here in traffic, I guess I'll end this by saying this is my voice. 11 months on... 11 months, give or take a little wish-washiness because of surgeries I had to stop for a couple weeks, but if we're going strictly calendar-wise, 11 months on T. I never know how to end these things, so I'm always like, do I just say bye? Do I address an audience, or am I just talking to myself? Am I talking to future me in like 5 minutes probably? I don't know. Whatever. Whoever you are, whatever you are, enjoy your day after watching this video.